This is Willpower speaking with Mick Fossil Cleary for the Strathmerton Cricket Club reunion, just regarding some history about our club, and I've got a few questions to ask him. How you going, Foss?
I'm a bit nervous, Will.
He'll be right. What's your earliest cricketing memory with Strathmerton?
Well, I turned up at the start of 1987, and it was between Christmas and New Year, and the football club visited me about before I'd unpacked the boxes, and I remember saying to the football boys, "Oh, what's the cricket club like?" And they said, "Oh, they're just going." I said, "I'm probably more interested in cricket than football." Anyway, I turned up. It was in the Christmas break, and I remember turning up to watch. I think it was Strathie playing Katunga. No one knew me. I was just leaning up on the wall watching the game, and we don't get many spectators at Strathmerton. It was interesting to see all the boys go, "Who's that? Who's that?" Pretty sure they were onto it. It was the new school teacher, and there was probably a 16-year-old Brendan Ryan. Greg Hazelman, I remember him because he had the form guide out. Bomber and anyway, Big Ben, they all came up and made me pretty welcome, and that's probably my earliest memory.
What are the facilities like over there? They're pretty similar to they are now, or were they a little different?
Oh, I think the ground was pretty good. The wicket was good. Everything was good. We didn't have the facilities we have now. I think we were the pariahs. We had to be nice to the football club and the recreation reserve. Otherwise we had a little 6x4 tin shed with a bag of lime in it for marking the wicket. That was about our facility, and we had to be pretty careful about keeping the place clean, or Mr. Ross Soden used to have a few words to us. G'day, Phil.
Now, you were obviously fairly successful in your time, Foss. Who would you say was your biggest rival of that era?
As a team?
Yep.
Oh, well, I think when I had my little bit of good fortune, actually we played in 5 finals in a row against 5 different teams, so you wouldn't really have a main rival. I think probably the side we should have played more in finals was Baruga. They had a pretty good side. They just had a little time where they couldn't get through the semis, and you know what that's like. I think we've done that a few times over the years as well. But
yep.
They were probably the better side around. And then after that, Cobram won 4 in a row after our hat trick, so they proved to be a pretty good side. They were on the make at the time.
Was there a club at the time that all the other clubs loved to beat? Probably a Baruga nowadays.
You said that. I think if your side's successful, people like to beat the successful sides. You know, they like to hunt the hunted. Baruga, as I said, Baruga was a side that we liked to beat. Nothing personal. It's just that they were a good side and we were on the way up. Cobram as well. Cobram had a very good unit. Jerilderie was, all good opponents. No preference. We just preferred to win than lose.
Was there a bowler you regarded as the fastest, or maybe the best in the league?
It's funny how when we think bowlers, we think quick bowlers. Quick bowlers aren't always your best asset, I reckon. We had a lot of success with slow bowlers. Damien Ryan and David Gemmell in tandem, very important to our success. Mark Baldwin from Jerilderie, better known as Basher. He's got 7 Guthrie medals, I think. More than Sir Charles Monash, apparently. Always a good opponent and could make the ball talk. There were some quick bowlers. Robbie Jones from Yarrawhia was feared. Craig Hocking? No, my memory... No, not really.
No?
Everyone had good bowlers.
What about the best bat, or maybe just an innings that you can recall?
Oh, I'm probably talking too much about other clubs. It's a Strathmerton do, isn't it?
Either or.
Best bat at Strathmerton. I've seen a few. At the moment, I mean, I tend to think back in the good old days, but we're seeing some pretty good ones go around now. Luke and Brad Carter, both different styles, but both very effective, and they've given me a lot of pleasure over the years. Marcus McMillan, the big bully boy, he excites me while he's exciting himself. Brendan Ryan, probably in my time, was as good as anyone, not that I've been here forever. I didn't see Gary Carter at his best, but I did see him play a very valuable innings for us. I don't know who the opponent was, but Gary had made a comeback after a few years off, and it was a very important semi-final. Maybe Gary, it didn't all just come back to him in a hurry, but he said, right, this is a semi-final, and he put his head down, he batted all day, and got us through that final. Batting, we had to bat late at night in the dark. We lost a couple of our good players, and Gary put the head down and got us into the final. We didn't need him in the final because I think Chris Bell made all the runs, but that was a memorable innings. And I'd like to make special mention of a couple of Brendan Ryan's innings. They weren't big scoring innings, but they were very quick, fast scoring innings against good bowlers in the finals. We played in 5 finals in a row. We lost the first 2, very similar. I think we lost the toss in all of those 5 games, which is interesting. But the first 2 finals I played in, we lost. The first one was Yarrawhia. We had them about 8 for 100. They made 160, and I think we paced our innings not all that well, and we were out for 20 short, and it was a dead set carbon copy the following year against Jerilderie. They were 8 for 100, made 160. We couldn't quite get there. And the third year around, Brendan Ryan, who was only young, he came in at number 3 or 4 and said, well, you know, we're not going to try and just go the 2 runs and over. Let's get some runs on the board early and make it easy for people down the list. And he got, I know he got a 50 and a 60 against quality bowling. And it just, everyone breathed a sigh of relief, and I reckon they were pretty memorable innings.
Obviously, yeah, they're part of the next question I've got for you. Your most memorable cricketing moment, apart from those, obviously.
Well, as an avowed number 9, 10 Jack batsman, I do remember having a very good partnership with Wayne McGregor in the semi-final, where we had to play Finley up at Jerilderie. And the bus trip was memorable too, because Peter Smith and Brendan Ryan and some of those larrikins. Anyway, that's another story. Hope it comes out on the weekend. We were in trouble. It was raining. Jerilderie wicket back in those days was perfect. It was beautifully covered by a Peter Baldwin was doing the wicket, and Baldwin's trucking empire had its beautiful big thick green canvas cover on it. The wicket was magnificent, but the water had run off onto the run-ups, so we pulled the wicket off. We were chasing, let's say, about 160, 170 runs. And it was the second day, and we needed 2 runs and over. Pulled the covers off, the run-ups were wet. Umpire, no play. Beautiful sunny day, magnificent wicket, wet run-up. And we're every time 3 minutes, we're 1 wicket, 1 over less. So we went from 2 runs and over to about 4 runs and over, and then Peter Baldwin turned up and he said, "Why aren't you playing?" "Oh, the run-up's no good." Peter's gone out, had a quick look at it and said, "I'll be back in 5 minutes. I'll fix that." He came back with a bag of cement powder and he said, "We won't be playing on it till next year, I'll fix it up later." He tipped the cement powder on it, bang, solid as a rock. We got on, we needed about 4 runs and over by that stage, and pretty good bowling. It was, I remember Darren Jackson, Dennis Burton, Jake Daniels, pretty good opponents. And we'd lost wickets and I was the last hope. Wayne McGregor was magnificent. He was facing Dennis Burton, who was hooping the ball around everywhere. I had no idea. I said, "You take Burton, I'll take Jacko," and we just... Anyway, we got through it. Wayne went out. Eddie Pinnock came in. We're about 9 for. We're down to the last over. We needed 4 runs or something. And I shut my eyes and smacked one away to mid-wicket. And that got us through the semi, and then the following week, yeah, it was good. Another premiership.
Wonderful. Now, we've been through some of your memorabilia here tonight. Can you, what are some parts of our history that you think may not be well recorded or known? Can you pinpoint anything for us?
Yeah, I don't know about history. It's a pity we don't have a great big filing cabinet to put all the scorebooks in, because if anyone out there's got scorebooks, that'd be really good. We don't seem to have the history in that regard. The juniors, our junior cricket club has been successful. I know they won one early back in the 60s or 70s. Strathie Juniors have won probably 5 premierships in the same vintage. It's probably people might forget about. We haven't really got a written history, so everything's verbal. What was your question again? There's other bits of...
Yeah, just some history. This DVD that we're making now will go down, helping us, record some of our history. Just wondering whether you have anything there for us. You've mentioned a fair bit.
Oh, well, when I'm going back to my first 3, 4, 5 years at the club, we played in 5 finals and won 3 of them. I think a lot of that goes to the Guthrie family. Neil Guthrie, I know, is a premiership player from a previous vintage, and the Guthrie medal. So the Guthries were a big cricket family. And when I got here, Chris was captain. Chris captained the first 2 years, and Chris was doing the wicket, and his brother Tackhead, who was helping him out. So the Guthries were a big part of it, and I just felt a little bit... I know Chris got a little bit, I don't know what the word is, probably disappointed that he didn't have any luck, and he got married, and I didn't really mean to be captain. No one wanted the job. I really landed on my feet there. They said, "Have you ever been captain before?" I said, "No, I've been vice captain." They said, "Oh, well, do you want to be captain?" And won the next 3, and I often felt that Chris Guthrie had done most of the work to get the club where we were. And I was really rapt that he came back and played in one of them at the end. So that's a little bit of, I don't know, history, that sort of stuff.
Yep.
Now, the other thing I'll remember too is that in that era, probably courtesy of the Guthries too, we were the only club in the competition that had a bowling machine. And I think that gave us a bit of an edge, because we're not a big club, we never have been. We've been probably 15 adults and a few kids. And you go against the bigger towns, we've actually stood up pretty well. And I think those little things like the nets were always good, the wicket was good, we had a really good roller, with the same roller, and it's other clubs have got the same roller since. So we were very well established with equipment in that regard, and I think that helped.
Now, now's probably the perfect time to maybe bring out a funny story and get one of your teammates back. Have you got anything for us?
Oh. Um, when you ask that question, I suppose everybody else has got a story about Damien Ryan.
Not yet.
Well, I've got plenty, but look, he's a wonderful human being, Damien Ryan, and he would he'd be first to admit that he's the author of a few situations. I remember Damien, he'd come back from Assumption College and he was working locally. He'd turn up on the bus, come to cricket training, and there's this gentleman in his black suit pants, white shirt, tie, patent leather shoes, Herald Sun under the arm, striding meaningfully across the oval to go to cricket training. It was 45 degrees in the bag. By the time he got halfway across the oval, the tie was off, the shirt was off, the strides were off. He had the leather shoes and the black socks and the red underpants, and he'd be bowling for about 2 hours in the nets. An unusual sight. Anyway, he'd stay for refreshments after training. I usually picked up his belongings and dropped them off at his place for Mum to wash and iron for the next time round. Another bit of history too, Damien used to bowl little innocuous little outswingers. And one day it was too hot for him, even him, in his red underpants at training. So he started bowling a few little off spinners, and I said, "Oh, how long have you been bowling them?" And he said, "Oh, I used to bowl spinners, but..." I said, "Well, we've got about 5 blokes bowling those little outies." I said, "If you want to keep them going, you might have a future, son." So I'm not sure whether I'm taking the credit for it. Yeah, why not? I'm taking the credit for it. I've turned him into a champion.
I'm just going to throw this one in. Apart from maybe, I don't know, Luke Carter, who would be the worst fielder that you've seen in your time?
Willpower, probably. Apparently dropped another soda on the weekend. I was at training tonight. Will wasn't there, but the boys were pretty unimpressed.
Anyone start off a bit of a klutz in C grade, maybe?
Look, my memory's failing me.
Anyone cop one between the eyes?
I can't remember.
Righto. Finally, would you like to pass something on to the people attending the reunion?
Well, thanks for coming and supporting this little club. I've said it before, we're not many people, but we're pretty well organised, and we've always had a few passionate people around the place. We're pretty lucky that we've had some good kids coming through, and they're usually generations repeating themselves. Have a good time and play straight.
Thank you for your time, Foss.